Hey everyone, in today's video we're going to be talking about solving proportions. So when you have to solve a proportion, they will typically look like this. It looks like one of your ratios or your proportions equals another one, and there's a variable somewhere. So remember, the variable here is just like a question mark. I'm trying to figure out what it is. So if you want to look at it like that, just you can get used to looking at it like it's a variable. It's like what over 4 equals 7 over 2. So in math, we just use letters to represent that. I'm going to show you two ways to solve this. Erase this. The first way I'm going to show you is kind of using some properties of fractions. So kind of like finding a common denominator. This doesn't always work, so it only works in certain situations, but if you can see it, I just wanted to address it. So if you can see, okay, I'm trying to figure out what x is. So if there's a relationship here that's easy to see, like what did you multiply to get 4? 2 times 2 is going to get me that 4. So then I would multiply the 7 by the same thing. 7 times 2. So then x here has to equal 14, because I would get 14 over 4. And if I simplified that fraction, we would get 7 over 2, which is what I want. So I'm just looking for the x value. X equals 14. So that's one way to do it. And you can use that if you have a relationship between the denominators or whichever one you're missing, numerator or denominator. So in certain situations, you may not see that, and it may just be quicker to do what is called the cross product property. So what that means is we're going to actually multiply the numbers that are diagonal. Okay, so I'm going to draw this here. I think I've heard some people call it like the butterfly method. So if you've heard something like that, that might be something you've heard. So I'm going to do 2 times x, which just gives me 2x, because I don't know what x is yet. That's going to equal 4 times 7, 28. Now, side note, literally side note over here. If you wrote 28 equals 2x, that's the same thing. So that's an equal statement, so I can write it on either side. It's okay. I like to write the x's on the left-hand side, but you don't have to. So then what I do here is I think, okay, 2 times what is 28? Well, I'm just dividing both sides by 2. So that's going to give me x equals 14, which it should have because I've already solved that for my other problem, or same problem, just different method. So either way, you're going to get x equals 14, and you can go back and check it. To check it, just plug in, substitute into the x, whatever value you got, so this 14. That's an interesting arrow. Is x right there. So 14 over 4, and again, I already checked it on my first problem. That's going to be 7. Oops, over 2. Okay, so that's really how you solve proportions, and so we're just going to spend the rest of this video practicing. So if you want to pause it here, go ahead and try it, and then we're going to amp up the level of difficulty with where your variables are, especially on that last one. So go ahead and pause it if you need to. I'm going to go ahead and start. Cross product property, I get 7x equals 30. Again, I'm just multiplying these here and then dividing by 7. So x equals 30 over 7, sorry. I was ready to reduce. So x equals 30 over 7, excuse me. And you can leave it like that, or if you wanted with proportions, sometimes it makes sense to do the decimal equivalent, and that is approximately 4.3. I'm just going to round to a tenth. Same thing here. I'm going to get 3x equals 20. Again, you might have 20 equals 3x. It's the same thing. It's fine. So x here equals 20 over 3. Or actually, if you wanted the, I'm going to use my calculator here. You've got 6.6 repeating, or you could round that to 6.7. Okay. And then this last one's a little different, especially if you're not as familiar with working with equations. If you do need assistance on that, we're going to come out with videos on that very soon. so we've got 6 times 5 in, so there's 30 in, because 6 times 5, and we just bring the variable with us, and that is going to equal 10. So I'm going to divide both sides here. I'll write out the steps. I apologize if I get a little short-handed. So I'll go this way. So I have n equals 10 over 30, but I can simplify that to 1/3, which is, again, 0.3 repeating, or just 0.3 if you wanted to round it. All right, so solving proportions with variables. Got a few more. Okay, got some decimals here. Whenever you see those decimals, definitely just pull out a calculator. So I'm gonna go ahead and get mine ready. Go ahead and pause this one as well. Try these out. Here we go. All right, let's see. I'm gonna do 21 equals 5x. So again, doesn't matter what side your variable's on, as long as it is with the diagonal. As long as it's with the 5, we're good. As long as you did 7 times 3, we're good. So I get 21 over 5 equals x. It's just like a standard procedure where we usually write the x first. So x equals 21 divided by 5, so 4.2. So again, either leave it as a fraction, improper, or make it your decimal. Either one is fine. If you have a word problem, look at the word problem, what would make sense. All right, here, got a decimal, so 2.17 x equals 3.4 times 7.7. There we go. I would get 26.18. I divide both sides by my 2.17. And so, let's see what that is. 2.17, I get 12.1. And that's an approximation because I rounded it. All right, and the last one here, I get, let's see, do my diagonals here. 8 times 2 is 16 in, so just bring them with you. And then 10 times 10 is 100. So if I divide both sides by 16, excuse me, let's see, 100 divided into 16 pieces is going to be 6.25. Now, what if I wanted to go back in, and what if I wanted to check all of these? What if I wanted to see if I was right? Well, first off, I am going to change colors. Let's go purple. All right. I'm going to take whatever I got, and I'm going to plug it back into my value. Keep my calculator ready. So I'm going to do 7 over 5 equals 4.2 over 3. I want to find out what both of these are as a decimal. So I'm going to do 7 divided by 5, not 4, 5, there we go. I get 1.4 equals, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do 4.2 divided by 3 in my calculator. I get 1.4 equals 1.4, which is good. I want to have the exact same thing. Something equals itself. If it doesn't, then that means I've done something wrong. Something's off. That's why you want to have a calculator for this. You could always do it by hand. It just may take you a little bit longer. Same thing here. I'm going to plug in this 12.1. Now this one's an approximation, so we want to make sure we're very close to what we get. 7.7. Okay, so 3.4 divided by 12.1 is 0.28, and then it keeps going. And then 2.17 divided by 7.7 is 0.28, and then it keeps going. So those are good. It is an approximation, so it is not exact, but that's okay. That's because I abbreviated my answer, basically. Same thing here. So I get 10 over 8 equals 2, and then times 6.8. This is, or 6.25, excuse me. This is the property of substitution. So 10 over 8 is 1.25. Okay, and then on the second side, I need to do 2 times 6.25 first. I get 12.5, and I'm going to divide that by 10. That is also 1.25, so that's good. Okay, so a little bit of equation practice in there, and again, if you want more practice on that, we will have that content coming to you shortly. All right, word problems, which I believe I have 1 or 2. All right, so then you have word problems as well, so let's check this one out. So you read the first 15 pages of a book in 20 minutes, and then you read 30 pages in 32 minutes. So we want to see, is the number of pages read proportional to your time? So let's see. We're going to think of this in pages per minute. So pages per minute. So let's go ahead and set this up. So I've got 15 pages in 20 minutes, and I want to see, does this equal, little question mark, does this equal 30 pages in 32 minutes? So I'm going to do the same thing that I did over here. I'm going to simplify my fraction. I'm going to try to figure out what it is. If you can do this by simply simplifying your fraction, you can do that. Let's try that first. So 15 over 20, that's not 1. It is 3/4. So I want to see, does 3/4 equal, now 32, they both have a 2 in common, so I can take out a 2. So that's going to be 30 divided by 2 is 15. 32 divided by 2 is 16. So 3/4, is that 15 over 16? It's not looking too good. I know 3/4, I'm going to go to decimal form. 3/4 is 0.75. So 0.75, does that equal 15 divided by 16? I'm going to put it in my calculator. That is 0.9375. So with that, I know that they do not equal. And so because my 2 decimals don't equal, the numbers of pages that I read is not proportional to my time. No. Okay? It seems that as you are reading this book, you're getting faster as you read it. All right. If you need more practice on why your proportion needs to be the same, please check out our proportional and non-proportional video, because it goes into a deeper explanation on that. All right, that's what I have for you guys today. Have a great one. Bye.